How quick can I change these two consumer units? The time is 9:35. Right, I'll give you a little bit of backstory on this particular job. These are two flats, a ground floor flat and a first floor flat. I've already carried out the EICR, so all that's left to do now is to replace these consumer units with new, compliant, non-combustible enclosures, surge protection, and Type A RCBOs, along with fire suppression device as standard. So let's see how quick I can change both these consumer units. This time I mark my cables dot, 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 but when I get to 5, I do a line, because otherwise you're going to have, especially when you're doing 3-phase boards, you're going to have like a gazillion dots. So I tend to do a line when I get to 5. So 10 would be 2 lines, 11 would be 2 lines and a dot, if you know what I mean. As you can see, when I do my EICR, I already indicated which was the mains, which was the main earthing conductor, which was the gas protective bond and the water protective bonding. So that was just roughly done when I did the EICR. I did the EICR probably a couple of months ago now, and the work has finally been booked in. So always label up your protective bonding. It just makes it easier for the next spark. And whilst these are all healthy rings, I actually, when I come across them, where is it? 32s, where are they? Although these are healthy rings, I've tested them, they're fantastic. Whenever I come across rings and I'm replacing a consumer unit or I'm installing new, I just downgrade them. I downrate them to 20 amps. In my opinion, rings are dead. We don't need them anymore. And it just makes it easier for the next person, or making any additions or alterations. Even though it's a healthy ring, it's very rare that you need that much current. Very rare you need 32 amps. You know, even for kitchens, you know, the way you've probably seen in previous videos how I divide up kitchens into a couple of radials. Nowadays, if I'm working on a circuit and it's a 32 amp ring, I just drop them to 20s. It just makes my life easier and the next spark's life easier, because you can just wire it and add on to it without fear of it, you know, having that overload issue. You know, too many unfused spurs and people messing around with ring circuits in their home and stuff, you know. So yeah, when I see a 32, very rarely do I keep it at 32. I just drop it to a 20. Let me know what you do in the comments below. Right, so first board is done and the time is, can you see that? 10:30, so I've been 1 hour. All been stripped out, re-terminated. I've labelled up the protective bonds on the main earthing conductor. Get the meter tails clamp screwed in, like that. Lovely jubbly. Just got to finish with my torque screwdriver on the main incoming tails. That's it. First board done in 1 hour. Let's quickly do some testing and then we'll move on to the first floor flat board and see how quick we can get these both done. A couple of things I'll say about these Luden boards. I don't like that they only supply you with one square grommet strip. When there's 2 knockouts at the back, they only supply with one grommet strip, which is a bit rubbish. Also, you have to assemble the tails gland kit, which on the fuse box is already pre-assembled, which is really nice. BG do the same, where they don't. BG are the same, where they don't assemble the tails gland. You've got to do it yourself. It must be a cost thing. They just throw it in rather than doing the labour of actually assembling it. Another thing I'm not so keen on with Luden is the neutral and the protective earth for the surge protective device. It's coarse stranded cables, and you see it just pulling. It looks a bit horrible. It is mainly aesthetics. You know, it's not really that bad, but it'd be nice if that was flexible cable, because they're coarse. They're quite hard to dress, and they're fixed length. That protective earth and the neutral need to be a little bit longer to allow for a bit of dressing behind and around any other neutral fly leads or CPCs out there. So there's a few things that I'm not so keen about with the Luden boards. A couple of things I do really like. The miniature RCBOs are fantastic. I do get solid results across the RCBOs. It's a solid construction. I like the buzz bar cover. The tails clamp I do love, albeit you have to assemble it yourself. All the terminals are nice and solid. It's better than the Proteus one. The Proteus one kept rounding off. So there's some really good things that I like for Luden, but there are some things that they could just improve a little bit on. Anyway, that's for another video. let's get our ZE with the earthing conductor removed. 0.14, 1.59 kA for the prospective earth fault current. However, I'm going to re-terminate it into the board and carry it out again with all the bonds and parallel paths in place. 0.14, 1.67 kA, so slightly higher now. Right, I'll run through my RCBO tests. I'll do my functional test as well. I'll run through all my RCBO testing, and then we'll get the cover on, label it up, and move on to our next board. Right, just talking up the connections, but this is board number 2 done, and the time is 11:30. 2 boards in 2 hours. It can be done. It can be done. You can do a good job fast. It's just not cheap, that's all. So that's 2 boards done in 2 hours, but we all know it's not actually 2 hours because I've still got to do, although it's only 11:30, I've still got to do the labeling, still got to do the retesting, still got to do all the paperwork involved with doing the 2 consumer unit installs. So I'm going to issue a electrical installation certificate for both the boards, 2 separate installations, 2 separate certificates. I'm going to reissue the electrical installation condition report. Now I don't have to, but however I like to for the landlord because they want to see an EICR. Even though the EIC kind of covers it, they want to see a condition report, a satisfactory one. So I'll reissue a satisfactory condition report and notify building control through my NAPIT portal. So yeah, 2 hours to change 2 boards. However, it's not 2 hours in total, is it? We all know that. But that's all you guys want to see, isn't it? this kind of stuff. Whilst I'm here, there was one more thing I had to do, which was replace all the smoke detectors as they were all out of date by a good number of years. So I've just bought ACOs and got the RF modules and put them inside. I've got 3 of them. I've got 2 opticals and 1 multi-sensor. They're all powered up. I'm just going to put them in house code. So follow me whilst I go through the process. Dead easy. I love ACO. Absolutely brilliant. ACO is. Press and hold until we get a blue flash. Cool. Over here, right. Starts flashing. Wicked. And the last detector. Right. Now we should get 4 flashes. The reason why we're getting 4 flashes, but there's only 3 devices, is because this is a multi-sensor. So there's a flash for the heat part of the alarm and for the carbon monoxide part of the alarm. So this will always give you a double flash. So now that's all coded. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll check they're all flashing 4. 4 flashes on that one. Come. And then on this one. In half an hour, if I did nothing, it will go out of house code of the coding system. It will go out of the house code mode. But we can force it out just by pressing the code button. There you go. Right. Now, to test them, this has got a heat and carbon. So I tend to test it here, and I'll do it twice because you've got a different sound for the carbon monoxide alarm to the traditional heat optical alarm. So I'm going to press and hold, and hopefully they'll all go off. I can hear them all going off. Right, I'm going to test it again, and I should have. That's it. See? The CO alarm is slightly different. It's got that deed, 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 and you saw it flashed up with the skull and crossbones. So that tells me that's all working. The blue flash obviously goes off as well when you trigger it, into alarm mode, and sends a signal to all the other RF modules. So that's all of that's the board's changed. All the smoke's upgraded. Obviously, I was dictated to by the existing cable. It's over 300 mil away from the edge of the room, but only just. That's all, you kind of got. I can only do what I can do with what I've got. You know what I mean? So I've got 3 detectors here, 2 opticals, 1 heat and carbon, and they're just over 300 mil away from the edge of the wall, which is just inside. Let's leave the client with the dust covers, or with the landlord, in case they do any decorating, which looks like what they're doing right now, and leave some instructions with them. But I'm sure I'll probably get the call if there's anything that goes wrong. All right, on to the next one.